The office's fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting their cold, sterile glow over my cluttered desk as I sifted through piles of paperwork. The clock on the wall ticked past midnight, its hands moving with relentless determination, mirroring the pressure building within me to meet the looming deadline. A silence, thick and tangible, hung in the air, punctuated only by the distant hum of the city and the occasional murmur of the old building settling into its bones. As the sole inhabitant of the office floor, the isolation weighed on me, wrapping its invisible fingers around my consciousness. The door opened with a soft creak, introducing a newcomer into the silent expanse of the office. I glanced up, my gaze meeting that of the janitor. He was new, a recent addition to the night shift whose name escaped my memory. His eyes, dark and unreadable, observed me from across the room, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips. With a nod of acknowledgement, I returned to my work. Yet the sensation of being watched lingered, brushing against the edges of my awareness with subtle insistence. As the night unfolded, I became increasingly aware of the janitor's presence, his silhouette often appearing at the periphery of my vision. He moved silently, with a stealth that belied his size, and his gaze never strayed far from me. A chill of unease settled over me as the minutes ticked by, making my skin prickle with discomfort. Each rustle of his cleaning equipment sent a shiver down my spine, his unbroken stare feeling invasive and unwarranted. There was something unnerving about his quiet, constant vigil. Deciding to confront him, I pushed back my chair, my voice steady, yet lined with a hint of trepidation. "Is there something you need?" My words echoed through the stillness, receiving no immediate response. He simply smiled, a gesture that failed to reach his eyes, and shook his head. Without another word, he continued with his duties, yet his presence seemed to expand, filling the room with a subtle tension. I attempted to return to my tasks, but concentration eluded me, slipped through my fingers like water, leaving behind a residue of anxiety and apprehension. Each glance in his direction found him watching me, his gaze unwavering and intense. Finally, unable to bear the oppressive atmosphere, I grabbed my belongings, hastily packing up in a bid to escape the silent scrutiny. As I approached the door, I threw a casual comment over my shoulder, a feeble attempt to dispel the building dread. "I'll be heading out. Need to grab something from the store downstairs. Do you need anything?" His eyes flickered for a moment, the first sign of emotion crossing his stoic features. With a hesitant nod, he muttered a request for a bottle of water. His voice, a low, gravelly whisper that barely reached my ears. Seizing the opportunity, I left the office, the door closing behind me with a soft click. My feet moved with purpose, carrying me away from the looming shadows and the unseen observer within. The relief was immediate and profound, a weight lifting from my shoulders as I descended the stairs, putting distance between myself and the janitor. Upon reaching the ground floor, I debated my next steps. Returning seemed daunting, yet leaving my work unfinished was not an option. With a sigh, I approached the security desk, sharing my concerns with the night guard. He listened attentively, his gaze sharp and calculating. Without wasting a moment, he accompanied me back upstairs, his presence a reassuring balm to my frazzled nerves. When the office door swung open, revealing the familiar environment within, the janitor was nowhere to be found. His cleaning cart stood abandoned by the corner, its contents neatly arranged and untouched. The guard swept the area, checking each room and corner, yet the janitor had vanished, leaving behind nothing but the echoes of his silent watch and the memories of his intense gaze. Days turned into weeks, and he never returned. No one seemed to know his name or recall seeing him before. And every so often, as I burn the midnight oil, I can feel it,